Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Well, join me today as my special guest will give us some tips on spring cleaning. You know, it is that time of year. And before we do start the interview, I do want to give my top 10 tips on spring cleaning. And I want to give everyone a spring challenge. But before I do that, I also wanted to tell you about two special events that I will be doing in April at the Bucks Country Gardens in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. On Saturday, April 5th, I'll be doing a cooking demo with edible flowers. And on Sunday, April 6th, I'll be doing a cooking demo with fresh herbs. And let's see, the workshops start at 1:30. So please join me, and you can look up any details. Just go online and look up Bucks Country Gardens in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Or if you want more info, you can also send me an email at info@marialiberati.com. So here are my top 10 tips for spring cleaning. So the top number one tip is to declutter first. Start by sorting through items in every room and deciding what to keep, donate, or discard. This clears the way for deep cleaning. Number two is to work room by room. So you're going to declutter, but you're going to focus on one room at a time to avoid feeling overwhelmed and ensure that every space gets the attention it deserves. And you might want to split this chore up to a room a week. So you don't get overwhelmed, or one room a day. Number three is to dust high and low. Dust high to low. Always start dusting from the highest point, like ceiling fans, and work your way down to avoid doubling your efforts. Number four is to deep clean carpets. Rent a carpet cleaner or use a professional service to remove the dirt and allergens that vacuuming might miss. And if you have pets or children, be sure that the shampoos or chemicals that are being used to deep clean the carpets are pet and child friendly. Number five, wash windows inside and out. Use a mixture of vinegar and water for streak-free panes, and don't forget to wipe down windowsills and tracks. Number six, clean appliances. Deep clean ovens, refrigerators, and washing machines. Pull appliances away from walls to clean behind them. Number seven, refresh your walls and baseboards. Dust and wipe walls and baseboards with a damp cloth to remove grime and scuff marks. Number eight, swap out all of your air filters. Replace the HVAC filters and clean vents to improve air quality and get rid of dust buildup. Number nine, tackle seasonal items. Wash and store winter gear, blankets, and seasonal decorations, leaving space for your spring essentials. Number 10 is to create a cleaning schedule. Plan regular maintenance cleaning throughout the year to avoid a daunting spring cleaning session next year. And here's my challenge. This should be easy. My challenge for this week is a one-time declutter challenge. So you're going to remove one item from your home every day for a week, whether it's donated, recycled, or discarded. That's your one item declutter challenge. And if you participate in the declutter challenge, let us know on social media. You can hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, one item declutter challenge, and let us know what you got rid of. So that is your challenge for this week. Stay tuned for my interview with more tips on spring cleaning. Discover the timeless secrets of Italian cuisine with the Basic Art of Italian Cooking series by Maria Liberati. That's me. From fragrant basil to silky olive oil, each page is a culinary masterpiece. Taste the passion, embrace the tradition, and create your own masterpieces in the kitchen with my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. Buon appetito, and you can find the books on Amazon.com, Kindle, on marialiberati.com, and on the publisher's website, artoflivingprimamedia.com.
And she stopped by today again, Ashley Scheuring from Confessions of a Grocery Addict. She's going to give us some great tips for spring cleaning. Spring is here. I got my spring fever, so I know spring is here, but that's when we all want to do our spring cleaning, cleaning out the pantry, and do spring cleaning. So Ashley is going to help us with some great tips on that. Ashley, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Maria. You can hear I also have my
You have
spring
it. Yeah,
fever,
there we
so
go.
we're matching.
There
At
we
least the
go.
days are longer, so there's
I
that.
know. I know. So
Uh,
tell us, with spring, everybody gets in the mood. They want to start cleaning and reorganizing everything because then soon after spring, the nice weather's here, and soon after spring we get into summer. So you definitely want to start that in spring. So give us some what tips do you have for for cleaning doing spring?
well, first of all, if you haven't done a no spend month to try and eat down your pantry, I feel like now is the perfect time to do it.
Uh-huh.
So just trying to get rid of everything and then actually getting in and, cleaning all of your contact paper or your shelves or relaying it down.
Right.
Make an inventory list of everything that you have that needs to be used and put it in a visible spot. I like to turn it into a game. So, for example, you could say that you want to try to knock out 5 items in a week. So that could be 2 pounds of pasta, 2 cans of tomatoes, or maybe a pack of frozen meat. And then whatever that leftover money is that you save on groceries, you can use for something fun, whether it's a new pot or a new appliance or dinner out,
Exactly.
or just paying down bills because let's face it, things are getting more and more
Things are
expensive.
getting more and more expensive, and I could never understand how people just trash like perfectly good food when there's so many things you can reuse and just do with what you have in the pantry already, and just kind of, and online. I mean, if you can't think of tips, you have a lot of tips on your
So
blog.
many resources.
Yes, there's so many resources out there of what to do with specific ingredients. So, and you can find stuff quickly. So that's absolutely right. That's a good idea. A no spend month for March, and just get
Um,
rid of. Yep.
and speaking of reusing things, if
Yes.
anything comes in glass containers or like
Uh-huh.
hard-sided containers, rather than buying other containers, off of Amazon or whatever, reuse those things because
Right.
that can help prevent pest infection. And so, any of your grains or anything, your coffee, anything that's airtight will help keep that stuff fresher for longer, which is going to save you money in the long
In the
term.
long run, exactly. And the glass jars are much better for you because you never know what's in those plastic containers. So sometimes they
Exactly.
do leave like a kind of a plasticky taste. So the glass jars are much better, but you're absolutely right. It saves money also. It's another way to save money when reusing food. And
Um,
they're-
Yeah, so like salsa jars and stuff, whenever I'm transferring any sort of hot items, because I like to make big batches of things and freeze extras for later.
uh-huh,
Um, Anytime I'm transferring hot foods or liquid
uh-huh.
foods, I try to use glass and save the plastic things for dried because that won't, get as much into your stuff if it's
Exactly.
dry food.
Exactly. That's definitely a great idea. Great idea for that. Um,
Um, this is also a good time to give your fridge a nice, good deep clean, maybe defrost your freezer. Um, and a lot of people don't realize it, but your spices really deteriorate over
yeah,
time. So you should kind of give them a refresh about every year if you're not going through them quickly.
right.
Um, and I also read this really interesting and very gross study that of all of the places in the kitchen, your
Uh-huh.
spice bottles are actually the most likely to carry foodborne pathogens because you're handling, say you're making
Oh,
meatballs and you're
yes.
shaking the oregano in and maybe you
Right.
forgot that you have meat on your hands.
Yes,
So
yes.
deep clean those too.
Yeah, the spice containers. And like you're saying, if you've had them for like a year or longer, probably the best thing is just to trash them because they're not
Yeah.
going to do
And they
you
can be composted and everything. And this is another reason why I
a great idea.
really, if possible, well, there's a couple of things with spices. First, try going to an Asian or an international market for your spices. They
Uh-huh.
sell them in little plastic bags instead of the glass containers, and it makes it so much cheaper.
Yes.
Um, and then in addition to that, try buying whole spices whenever possible. And
Yes.
then if you just have like a cheap, Hamilton Beach coffee grinder, you can use that as a spice grinder, or you can go old school with a mortar and pestle. But
Huh?
whole spices will hang on to those essential oils for much longer. So you can keep those almost indefinitely on the shelf, whereas the
Right.
ground ones, 6 months to a year is about as long as they'll have full potency.
Because they're probably fresher too if you're getting them whole,
Yes.
fresher, and the oils weren't released. So you're absolutely right. They'll
I mean, if
last.
you've ever tasted the like canned ground pepper, it doesn't really taste like anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But fresh cracked pepper, you can really taste that heat.
Yes,
So
you can. Yeah, yeah, yes,
so aside from that, I think
yes.
with spring coming, this is, gardening season is right around the corner. So this is
Uh-huh.
a great time to start prepping.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you have the space and the time and the energy, um, it's, try to do some raised garden beds. I just have a little lettuce table out on my back patio. And then I try to like expand into the yard when I have the time for it. I'm not
Yes.
sure that I will this year. And if you don't have time for all that, try a few indoor pots of herbs. We say this probably once every second or third
Right,
episode, but it
exactly.
makes such a
It
difference when
does.
you're
It does.
cooking.
Because herbs are so expensive now. And there are some herbs that really don't need a lot of sunlight, like parsley and thyme, things like that, that you can just grow in your kitchen. Again, you're absolutely right. You need to have the time to put it there. But if you do, it's great. And it's a great way, again, to save money.
And
So,
you can get little grow light bulbs. So like in my
yes,
kitchen, there's a lamp on my table and I just put a grow light bulb in there and it's warm white. It still looks like the rest of the light bulbs in my house, but
yes,
that helps keep my basil really happy.
exactly.
And
Yes. Exactly.
uh,
That's a great idea. I have that. I have an oregano bush and I have it under a light. And you're absolutely right. It seems to be happy, so hopefully it will last. But yeah, the grow lights are a great idea. Yes.
and then the other thing to start thinking about, so in terms of growing, I think I've talked about it before, but check your library for seed exchanges.
Oh, yes.
A lot of libraries not only have seeds that you can get for free, and I
Uh-huh.
remember in Philadelphia, I think when I lived there, there was at least one branch that did that. And there's also a tool library
Right.
where you can rent out tools to build your stuff. But the seed library is really cool because you know that those are things that are going to thrive in your area because,
Right. Ex
people are
ex
growing them, saving the seeds, and bringing them back.
Exactly, exactly. And I've noticed there are some seed libraries online. Now, they're not local to everybody, but you might be able to do something with that, through the mail or something like that, depending. So, but you're absolutely right. I know I've heard of one in the Philadelphia area, but I'm sure if you just look up seed libraries online, no matter where you are, you might be able to find something.
Yeah, and like whenever possible, because once you start growing, if you then let things go to flower, you can save your own seeds for the next year. So
Exactly.
In theory, for 99 cents for a packet of seeds, you can have
Yes.
a never-ending supply of whatever those seeds
And
are as
whatever
long as
those
you,
seeds are.
right.
Exactly.
And then also look to friends who are gardeners and see if they can give you cuttings of things. Because, like basil, you can put a sprig of basil in water and it will start growing shoots. And then you have yourself a whole separate plant that you can
Basil.
then plant.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
It's a great
and
idea.
then let's see, what else did I have in here? This is also a really good time if you're considering doing a CSA, community supported agriculture.
Right.
Um, you're gonna want to start researching for ones in your area because usually they start around April, like mid to
Yes.
late April for the
Uh-huh.
season, and a lot of them will sell out.
Uh-huh.
Now, granted, it is a big investment all up front, but then you're going to be covered for veggies for the entire
Well,
season. So
exactly.
my local farm that I love, Lost Weekend, they offer both a summer and a fall season. So I'm able to break it up
Oh,
into two smaller
uh-huh.
um,
Season.
payments. And
Right.
it's just 8 minutes down the road for me. So it's a very
That's
easy
great. It's
pickup.
convenient. Exactly. And there, you're not going to have to worry about, oh my gosh, there's like stuff in the news about whatever's happening to the lettuce or whatever. And,
Exactly.
you're getting it fresh. So in the long run, it probably saves money anyway.
And it's way cheaper than buying individual things at the farmers market because
Exactly.
they want to give you, these farmers are so grateful for your support. Like when I
Yes.
go and pick up my bags, not only are they giant, I mean it's $35, but it is, a
Yes.
giant thing
I,
of food. And then,
yes.
if they have extras of zucchini, they'll just have a
They'll
basket
just,
out and say, take as many as you can use, please. We don't want these to
exactly.
go to waste. So it's
Exactly.
really a great way to do that. And again, especially with all of the tariffs and stuff,
Right.
investing in local agriculture is so important.
It
And
is.
there are CSAs actually that do meat too. So it's
Uh-huh.
like with all of these, you know, issues with listeria and E. coli and stuff
Exactly.
making their way into the food supply.
Exactly. You want to get like a local. Yeah. Yeah, there are still, I know sometimes it's difficult to find, but I do see local butchers that are still in certain areas. So there are still some, and I'm sure some of them do have CSAs. So
And they
you,
can be really pricey, but there are a couple of ways you can work your way around it. So, like going in on a quarter of a beef or a half of a beef or half of a pig and split it with another
another,
family,
exactly.
y'all, it is like, I mean, you can fill a whole, chest freezer just with meat.
Exactly. Just with that. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea to share it with another family so you can split the cost and it doesn't end up being that expensive. That's
Yeah.
great. So anything else you want to add in before we head out?
The only thing with gardening is just maybe start small. You
Uh-huh.
don't want to overwhelm yourself. I had a
Right.
friend who basically planted herself a whole dang homestead last year, probably 30 by 30 feet of rows. And then she
Right.
had some familial obligations pop up, and she was out of town
Exactly.
for weeks and came back, and she was just really disheartened. Um,
Yes.
so start small and use graphing paper to help you plot out where things are because if you forget
Exactly.
what things are, you're
Exactly.
but yeah, just start small and anything that you can do, even if it's just one basil plant, you're gonna make your food more delicious and your life is gonna be better for it and cheaper.
Exactly. And it gives you a way to kind of just get started so you don't get overwhelmed. I did that when I started doing my own garden, getting everything under the sun. And then it's like, oh my gosh, when am I going to have time to
Right.
do this? And I got somebody to help me, but still, it does take time because you have to take care of this stuff. Make sure you know where they plant. There's so many things go into it. So if you've never done it before, you're absolutely right. It's good to maybe do one plant just to get an idea of what it's like and then kind of try and go from there.
Grow from there. Yeah. I mean, just a
Exactly.
little, I've got a 4x4 lettuce table, and then I have another 4x4 that's herbs.
Uh-huh.
And I'll get, a couple of tomato plants because those are pretty easy as long as you cover
Yes.
them with netting to keep the
Yes.
squirrels out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's yeah, just don't, and things are going to die. You're going to learn along the way. Gardening
Exactly.
is a journey.
It is.
You've got it. Just start small and try
Just
to get free stuff from the library, and then you won't
exactly.
feel so sad if it doesn't work
Exactly.
out.
Exactly. There's so many places now where you can get free stuff. So definitely look it up online. Great. Well, I know Ashley's going to be back next month with some tips on saving money on Easter. But
Yeah.
so thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you
And
for having me.
you're welcome. And we will see you next month then.
Okay, I hope you're feeling better soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me and listening to the Maria Liberati Show. And as always, thanks to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's special guest. A reminder, I will be at the Bucks Country Gardens in Doylestown on Saturday, April 5th. I'll be doing a cooking demo on cooking with edible flowers. And on Sunday, April 6th, I'll be cooking with fresh herbs, spring herbs. That's at Bucks Country Gardens in Doylestown at 1:30, and you can also find Bucks Country Gardens online in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And I just want to make a reminder to everyone, for the challenge this week is the one item declutter challenge. Take one item each day for the week and just get rid of one item each day of the week for your spring cleaning challenge. It's a one item declutter challenge. Just remove one item from your home every day for a week. You can either donate it, recycle it, or discard the item, but just remove the item from your home. That is your challenge, your spring challenge for this week. And as always, you can find me at marialiberati.com. You can find info on the shows at the marialiberatyshow.com. You can find me on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Twitter or X at Maria Liberati, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati, on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is the Maria Liberati Show. You can find podcasts and also video of some of the podcasts. You can also find video on Vimeo.com at Maria Liberati. And you can also see my TV series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati, streaming on the Binge Network. And then you can find my Gourmand World Award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and really anywhere books are sold, as well as the publisher's website, which is artoflivingprimamedia.com. And until next week, peace, love, and pasta.